loved like family, treated like children, and yet within seconds turned into killers. From pet tigers and chimps to seemingly harmless ferrets and snakes, these are the real stories of exotic animal owners who faced the unthinkable. Some survived, others weren't so lucky. Welcome to When Pets Turn Deadly, a chilling look into the world where love for wild animals crosses a line and ends in tragedy. Number 1. Travis the chimpanzee, a friend turned violent. In 2009, a Connecticut woman named Sandra Harold made headlines when her pet chimpanzee, Travis, attacked her friend Charla Nash. Raised like a child and even wearing clothes, Travis was considered part of the family. But one day he snapped. The chimp mauled Nash's face and hands in a gruesome attack that left her blind and severely disfigured. Police were forced to shoot Travis when he turned on them. This case shocked the nation and sparked new discussions about exotic pet laws. Experts believe chimpanzees can become unpredictably violent with age. Travis had no prior record of aggression. His breakdown proved just how dangerous humanized wild animals can be. Number 2. Terry Vance Garner, killed by his own pigs. In 2012, 69-year-old Oregon farmer Terry Vance Garner went out to feed his pigs but never returned. Hours later, family members discovered only his dentures and scattered remains in the pig pen. Authorities were stunned to learn the pigs had eaten nearly all of his body. Garner had raised the animals for years, but one had reportedly been aggressive before. Though pigs are generally thought of as domestic farm animals, they can become territorial and violent. Investigators couldn't determine if Garner had a medical emergency or was attacked first. Either way, his pigs turned into predators. This chilling event redefined what people thought about farm animals. Number 3. Marius Els. Trampled by a hippo, he called a son. South African farmer Marius Els believed his pet hippo, Humphrey, was just misunderstood. He'd raised the 1.2-ton animal since it was young and treated it like family. But in 2011, Els was found dead in a river on his property, apparently trampled and bitten by the very creature he called a son. Before his death, he told reporters that Humphrey was tame and even let him ride on his back. But hippos are responsible for more human deaths in Africa than lions or crocodiles. Experts warn that a hippo's strength and unpredictable nature make them wildly unsuitable as pets. Tragically, Els learned that lesson too late. Number 4. Jenna Kramer, killed by a pet python in her sleep. In 2011, 2-year-old Jenna Kramer died in her crib in Florida after her family's 8-foot-long Burmese python escaped its enclosure and strangled her. The snake, named Gypsy, had been kept in a makeshift tank secured only with a quilt and string. It slithered out during the night and wrapped itself around the child. The case sparked outrage when authorities discovered the owners hadn't fed the snake in over a month. The parents were later convicted of manslaughter and child neglect. Burmese pythons are powerful constrictors and grow rapidly. In the wrong hands, they pose a deadly threat, especially to small children. Number 5. Ronald Huff, eaten by his pet monitor lizards. When police entered Ronald Huff's home in Delaware in 2002, they were met with a horrifying sight. Huff's body lay partially consumed by his 6 pet Nile monitor lizards. The reptiles, which can grow up to 7 feet long, are known for their aggressive behavior in carnivorous diets. Neighbors hadn't seen Huff in days and had called authorities to check in. It remains unclear whether the lizards attacked him while he was alive or began feeding after he died of natural causes. Either way, the scene was gruesome. Monitor lizards are not domesticated animals. Huff's death raised questions about the risks of keeping large, carnivorous reptiles as pets. Number 6. Kellyanne Walls, mauled by her pet black bear. In 2009, Pennsylvania woman Kellyanne Walls was killed by her 350-pound black bear while cleaning its cage. She had raised the bear from a cub, keeping it in a steel enclosure behind her home. While her children watched from the yard, the bear charged her without warning and fatally mauled her. Her children ran to get help, and a neighbor shot the bear to stop the attack. Walls held a license for the bear, but authorities later questioned the safety measures she had in place. Black bears, even when raised in captivity, retain their wild instincts. This tragedy showed how easily those instincts can turn fatal. Number 7. Brent Kandra, lion attack at a private zoo. Brent Kandra, a 24-year-old zoo employee in Ohio, was fatally mauled in 2010 by a 400-pound African lion. The animal belonged to wildlife enthusiast and TV personality Sam Masola, who ran a private zoo at his home. Chandra was cleaning the lion's cage when the animal lunged and attacked without provocation. Though the lion was supposed to be in a separate area, a gate had been left unsecured. The incident led to public outrage and renewed calls for bans on private ownership of big cats. Brent's death highlighted the dangers of keeping apex predators in residential areas. Even trained professionals are not immune to sudden attacks. Number 8. Dirk van Leer, crushed by a reticulated python. In 1996, Florida snake handler Dirk van Leer was found dead in his home, strangled by his 13-foot-long reticulated python. The experienced handler was preparing to feed the snake when it wrapped around him and constricted. Reticulated pythons are among the world's longest snakes and are capable of overpowering adult humans. Though Van Leer was familiar with reptile behavior, a feeding-related error likely triggered the attack. Experts stress that feeding time is when snakes are most dangerous, as they respond purely on instinct. Dirk's death shocked the reptile community and remains one of the most famous cases of fatal python attacks in the U.S. Number 9. Diane Whipple, mauled by Presa Canario dogs. In 2001, San Francisco resident Diane Whipple was mauled to death in the hallway of her apartment building by 2 Presa Canario dogs. The massive dogs, bred for fighting and guarding, were owned by 2 lawyers who claimed they were just misunderstood. The dogs attacked Diane as she returned home, dragging her to the ground and tearing through her body. Neighbors heard her screams but couldn't reach her in time. The case led to a landmark manslaughter conviction and reignited debates over dangerous dog breeds. Presa Canarios are not recommended for inexperienced handlers. In this case, ownership negligence cost an innocent woman her life. Number 10. Taylor Lang, bitten by a pet king cobra. Taylor Lang was a 25-year-old exotic pet collector in Texas who died after being bitten by his pet king cobra in 2015. Lang had kept venomous snakes illegally and was known for posting selfies with his collection. One day, he was bitten while trying to clean the cobra's enclosure. Though he managed to call for help, he succumbed to the venom before paramedics could administer anti-venom. Authorities later discovered over 20 venomous reptiles in his apartment, stored with minimal safety precautions. King cobras are among the deadliest snakes on Earth. Taylor's tragic death serves as a sobering reminder of how deadly even a single mistake can be. Number 11. AJ Cisco, killed by a pet wolf hybrid. In 2010, 3-day-old AJ Cisco was killed in his Indiana home by the family's pet wolf dog hybrid. The baby had been left in a bassinet while the parents briefly stepped out of the room. Within minutes, the hybrid grabbed the infant and inflicted fatal injuries. Wolf hybrids are often unpredictable due to their wild genetics, and their behavior can shift rapidly, even if raised in captivity. Although the family claimed the animal had never been aggressive, experts had warned them about keeping it near a child. The tragic death of AJ underscored the risks of owning animals with partial wild ancestry, especially around children. Number 12. Andrew Oberle, mauled by chimpanzees at a sanctuary. In 2012, graduate student Andrew Oberle was conducting research at the Jane Goodall Institute Chimpanzee Eden in South Africa when 2 chimps escaped and attacked him. The animals dragged him under a fence and tore off his ears, fingers, and much of his face. Andrew survived the attack but required over 24 surgeries to rebuild his body. The chimps, considered rescued, had previously shown signs of aggression. Sanctuary staff later admitted the fence had a weakness. This brutal attack demonstrated that even in conservation settings, chimps remain dangerously strong and territorial. Andrew's experience became a chilling case study in primate unpredictability. Number 13. Tamika Smith, fatal encounter with a pet tiger. In 2007, Tamika Smith was visiting a friend's private residence in Texas when she encountered a fully grown Bengal tiger kept as a pet. The owner, a big cat enthusiast, had assured visitors the animal was docile. But as Tamika approached the enclosure, the tiger lunged and pulled her into the cage. She suffered massive injuries and died before paramedics arrived. The tiger was later euthanized. Texas has notoriously lax laws on exotic pet ownership, but this incident led to renewed calls for stricter regulation. Tigers are apex predators, not pets, and one wrong move can lead to a fatal mistake, as Tamika sadly found out. Number 14. Jennifer McCall, ferret attack in the nursery. In 2011, Jennifer McCall's infant son was severely injured by the family's pet ferret in Missouri. The baby was left unattended in his crib when the ferret escaped its cage and entered the nursery. By the time Jennifer returned, the animal had chewed off several of the infant's fingers. The parents claimed they were unaware of the ferret's aggressive behavior, but authorities later revealed that it had been poorly fed. Though ferrets are legal in many states, they can be prone to biting, especially if startled or hungry. The infant survived, but the permanent damage left a grim reminder that even small exotic pets can be dangerous. Number 15. Mark Vogel, consumed by his exotic insect collection. In 2004, German man Mark Vogel was found dead in his apartment, partially consumed by his massive collection of exotic insects, spiders, and reptiles. Authorities discovered over 200 creatures, including a pet black widow and a 6-foot monitor lizard, freely roaming the space. Vogel had reportedly died of an asthma attack, but his body was already in advanced decomposition, partially eaten by his pets. The apartment was described as a jungle of horror by police. Though his death wasn't directly caused by an attack, the post-mortem consumption highlighted the risks of keeping dangerous creatures without proper safety or supervision. Number 16. Haley Hilderbrand, killed during a tiger photo shoot. In 2005, 17-year-old Haley Hilderbrand posed for her senior portraits with a Bengal tiger at a wildlife facility in Kansas. The tiger was chained and supervised by handlers, but without warning, the animal became agitated and fatally mauled her. Haley had grown up loving animals and wanted to do something unique for her yearbook. Sadly, the stunt cost her her life. The incident led to Haley's Act, a proposed federal bill aimed at restricting direct contact between the public and dangerous exotic animals. Her story became a painful example of how quickly photo ops with wild creatures can go horribly wrong. Number 17. Michael Pace, bitten by a Gila monster. In 2006, Arizona reptile keeper Michael Pace was bitten by his pet Gila monster, a venomous lizard native to the southwestern U.S. The bite caused extreme pain, swelling, and vomiting. Though Pace survived, he was hospitalized for several days and nearly lost use of his hand. Gila monsters deliver venom through grooves in their teeth, and though rarely fatal, their bites can be medically serious. Michael had decades of experience handling reptiles, but he admitted the bite happened due to complacency. The incident became a cautionary tale within the reptile-keeping community. Even seasoned experts can't afford to let their guard down. Number 18. Pam Weaver, trampled by a pet camel. In 2007, 60-year-old Pam Weaver was killed by her pet camel on her property in Queensland, Australia. The camel had been a birthday gift from her husband and was said to be affectionate, often following her around the yard. But one day the camel knocked her down, sat on her, and trampled her to death. Authorities believe the camel, at the time of the attack, may have been displaying mating behavior. Camels, while often seen as docile, can become extremely aggressive, especially during rutting season. Pam's death was a tragic reminder that even seemingly gentle exotic animals can turn lethal with no warning. Number 19. Grant Williams, bitten by a pet rattlesnake during church. In 2012, Kentucky pastor Grant Williams died after being bitten by a rattlesnake during a religious service. As part of a controversial Pentecostal tradition, Grant handled venomous snakes to demonstrate his faith. The snake bit him on the hand, but he refused medical attention, believing God would heal him. He collapsed during the service and died shortly after. His congregation mourned his loss but continued the practice. Snake handling rituals remain legal in some areas, but the dangers are well documented. Grant's death showed how religious fervor can sometimes override reason, and how exotic pets, in any context, can prove fatal. Number 20. Sarah Burkhalter, attacked by her pet macaque monkey. In 2010, Alabama woman Sarah Burkhalter was severely injured by her pet macaque monkey during a routine feeding. The monkey, which she had raised from infancy, suddenly became aggressive and bit her repeatedly on the face and arms. Macaques can carry herpes B virus, which is potentially fatal to humans. Sarah survived the attack but required reconstructive surgery and months of rehabilitation. She eventually gave the monkey to a wildlife sanctuary. Macaques, despite their size, are known for intense aggression, especially during maturity. Her story serves as a final, sobering example of how even seemingly cute exotic animals can unleash devastating harm. These stories aren't just headlines, they're cautionary tales. They remind us that no matter how tame an animal seems, nature can't be caged. Which case shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more gripping true stories every week. Stay curious, but stay cautious.